I don't know how anyone could be friends with Tamra Judge. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am Poe3. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So let's get into the latest episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. Just to kind of give you a breakdown on how I review, I don't really touch every single part of the episode. I kind of just go into the parts that stuck out to me. So let's get into it. So Shannon has a breakdown at the table discussing everything about John and the lawsuit and how essentially he's saying that she owes him $75,000. And, you know, she's actually pretty shocked at how everyone at the table is giving her support. And she expresses that at the table, which I thought was really beautiful. I've always had a soft spot for Shannon. I think people are extremely hard on Shannon. I low-key feel like there's a certain level of jealousy when it comes to Shannon because Shannon isn't really new to wealth. Shannon grew up pretty wealthy and grew up in a pretty affluent area, went to Beverly Hills High School, if I'm not mistaken. So she wasn't, you know, she didn't marry into her wealth. She was born into it. Heather was horrible to Shannon that first season, and Tamra was right there playing the background, essentially just pushing Heather's foot down on the pedal to make it seem like, I guess, to create the narrative that Shannon is just loony person. And unfortunately, it is stuck. Fast forward to the next scene where Gina and Emily are playing pickleball, and you can kind of tell that there's still some type of tension or whatever. So they decide to start talking about it. And I think Emily's like, no, I don't want to talk about it right now. Which you can kind of tell that is like still playful. Like, I love their relationship because you can tell that there's so much love there. So they start discussing it, going back and forth. Basically, Emily saying, I don't like that you said that I'm aggressive. And one thing that I can appreciate about Gina's very honest. So she was like, no, listen, I did say that. And this is why I felt that way. Gina brings up the fact that Emily said that she is Heather's lapdog. I think that's a fair assessment when it comes to her relationship with Heather. Now, I don't agree with how they are trying to tie that into what is happening with Gina, Heather, and Katie. I feel like Gina did exactly what she was supposed to do when it comes to her loyalty to Heather. She's right. She's been friends with Heather longer than she's been friends with Katie. So at the end of the day, Heather's going to take precedence over Katie. I see nothing wrong with that. And on the flip side, I see nothing wrong with Emily feeling away like, wow, you were pushing Katie on us, and then all of a sudden something happens with Heather, and now you're like, I don't know that girl. But even in the flashback, Gina explained, yeah, like, she's been my friend for years. I'm just meeting this girl, and when it comes down to it, I'm going to support the person that I've been friends with for these past few years. And I agree with that 100%. I do agree with Gina in terms of saying that Emily has been extremely aggressive. Now, especially when it comes to Jen. That scene at the table where she says you're stupid and you need to pay your bills, that was extremely aggressive. I did not like that. That was mean. Money is such a personal thing, and you can kind of tell that Jennifer has never really had to work for anything in her life. She's always been kind of like a kept person. And yeah, it didn't sit right with me. The reason I think Emily had such a harsh reaction towards Jennifer about this is because she's seen how Gina has tried to rebuild her life after her divorce and how hard Gina has worked. And for Jennifer to kind of, you know, not pay her bills and, you know, sully Gina's name within the real estate industry when Gina did a favor for her, I think a little bit of that is Emily having Gina's back, and I wish Emily would express that. You can kind of tell that, like, they are real friends. Like, they really love each other. And they even made a joke like, I don't want to be like Tamra and Shannon. They're crazy, and I agree with that. And just like how they were able to, like, get right back to it. You know what? We needed to have this argument. We needed to get it off our chest. And it just really showed, like, wow, you guys have a true friendship. Y'all are writers. And just the fact that, yeah, they did say certain things behind their back, like all friends do, but instead of viewing it maliciously or letting it fester, they immediately handled it. They didn't go around to multiple people saying like, oh, did you hear she said this about me? Or she da-da-da-da. yes, the initial issue was that they were talking behind each other's back, but I really don't even look at that as talking behind the back. It's like, this is my opinion of my friend, and I'm eventually going to have this conversation with her. I enjoy their friendship. I really do. They don't allow people to come in between their friendship, and that's a beautiful thing to see, and something very rare to see on Housewives. We flash back to Big Bear where Jen, Katie, Alexis, Tamra, are vacationing in Big Bear, and they cut to a scene where Jen starts to hold Tamra accountable for how she's been treating Shannon. When people like Tamra, if you have friends like Tamra, do you need enemies? Because it is the way she handles Shannon. It's like, girl, just admit you don't like her. Like, at the end of the day, you don't like her. When someone speaks to you that way, especially when you're going through the things that Shannon is going through, just be clear. Like, you don't like me, sis, and just say that. But I love the way Jen was like, she needs you right now. You need to be a better friend to her. She's going through a lot, and the way that you are handling her it's just not how a friend should move. And what I appreciate about Jen saying that is because she was in the same position last year when it came to Tamra. Tamra ran her through the mud last year. And a lot of times on Housewives, people will become hypocrites and act like they didn't just get that same treatment, and they will then pile on. And Jennifer's not doing that, and I appreciate that about Jennifer. While they're still at the scene from Big Bear, Alexis gets a call from John, and he's apparently super upset about something that Shannon has done, which is not clear. And from my perception and my opinion, I really feel like there's nothing that actually happened. They just want to put the video out. They want to basically run Shannon's name into the mud. And I don't understand why she's so involved. Let me tell you, if I'm in such a great, happy relationship, the last thing I want to deal with in my new relationship is my current partner and his ex's drama. Like, that actually would turn me off from my new partner. I don't even want to deal with you. If this is going to be a part of our life, if we're going to have to deal with this, we can't date. And it seems as if she is relishing in that. Like, you have nothing else to do. You have nothing else to talk about. You have nothing else to worry about. Both of you, when it comes to Shannon Bedore, like, it's real whack. It's real lame. Get you some business, as we say in my community. Get you some business. Tamra visits Gina, and I just get an air from Tamra when she's dealing with Gina. Like, she's almost like looking down on Gina, like, so where are the kids gonna sleep? Or what are they doing with this? It's like, why are you trying to sun this grown woman who has had to get it out the mud and who has literally just progressed so beautifully throughout the years? Like, yes, she has had her ups and downs, but she is winning at the end of the day. The growth that we have seen from Gina since she has come on the show is phenomenal, and I cannot say the same for Tamra. So, of course, the conversation pops back up with Shannon between Gina and Tamra, and Tamra basically says that she is giving Shannon tough love. And I'm all here for tough love. Sometimes people need tough love. But I think what people misinterpret for tough is like being brash and rude, when really tough love is just being extremely honest with a person and letting them know how you view whatever the situation has happened. Not, pussyfooting around the situation, not beating around the bush, just being extremely direct. That's tough love. Not yelling at them and telling them that they have a drinking problem in the middle of a restaurant at a table full of people. Call me crazy. Emily is quickly becoming my fave. She just has such a rational way of thinking, and just the way that she's been supporting Shannon through this. A lot of people say like, oh, she's being ride or die for Shannon this season, but I really think she's just looking at it from a very rational point of view. If Alexis and John is so happy and they're having the best sex of their life and they are going to church all the time and just so lovey-dovey, why is Shannon such a big part of your life? Why is she such a big part of your conversation? It makes no sense to me, Emily, or anyone, really. Fast forward, Jen and her boyfriend Ryan get together. I really like Ryan. I think Ryan is the perfect type of partner to be on Housewives. He's expressive. He talks his shit. Finances or what he does for a living is very ambiguous. So there's a storyline there. Another thing that I picked up on with Ryan that I appreciate is that he is teaching Jen how to stand up for herself and how to create boundaries for her happiness. And normally when you see someone that wants you to create boundaries, boundaries for your happiness, they tend to be the same type of people that, create those boundaries with those people, but don't create those boundaries with me. And I'm noticing that he doesn't really come off that way, because he's in the same way that he's telling her that she deserves to be happy and create boundaries with her children and not overexert herself. He's also treating her to a lifestyle that allows her to be comfortable, but he's also pushing her. So I really appreciate their dynamic. So fast forward to the sit down between Tamara and Shannon. It starts off immediately wrong when Tamara thinks that Shannon should have reached out to her after she showed her ass at that last sit down, at that last dinner with everyone in that restaurant, calling her an alcoholic and saying that she has a problem. And basically they start going back and forth. Shannon doesn't feel like she should have reached out to her first. She thinks Tamara should have reached out to her, which she did, and I agree with that 100%. Shannon, they get into a quick little back and forth, and then of course Tamara has to hit a low, basically saying like, well, I've never, ran my car into a wall. And that's when Shannon has to get up and leave. She separates herself. When she comes back to the table, she says, I've basically learned that this is the best practice that I need to implement in my life so I don't lose my shit. Fast forward through the conversation, she expresses that John is suing her, and this is the one thing that Tamara actually shows some sympathy, and they basically are starting over and trying to be better with each other. I think that's crazy. When someone shows you who they are, you should believe them. And Tamara has shown you who she is 1,000,001 times, so I really don't understand why you keep going back, but it's beyond me. Do your thing. And basically that was the end of the episode. I've never been much of a RHOC watcher, but this season I'm really feeling this season. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, or if you have some comments or questions or would like to give some feedback, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And peace.